Hello everyone, this is Phaezer signing in, and I've been getting a lot of questions about what are my add-ons, all the ElvUI that you can see here. Usually it's about tell me when, and I thought it'd be good if I made a video on about how you can use different add-ons to improve your abilities in World of Warcraft. This usually will be for raiding, of course, and there'll be many people who want to start raiding in Legion. And to do that, you want to make sure that first you have a good UI. Now, I'm not saying that my UI is the best. Obviously, it's not. There are definite personalizations that you can have. Everyone likes that it's different. And this one I made myself. It mainly comprises of ElvUI and tell me whens. So I thought I'd go over just different ones that can help you. So firstly, I'm going to talk about ElvUI. Now, ElvUI literally, it's in its name, is UI. It changes your UI, and you can see here that from the default one, firstly, health frames. Okay, where's my health frames? It's right down here at the bottom. You can see it right next to me. That's my health frame. If you have no add-ons, your health frame will be right in the top corner of your screen. Now that's not exactly very good for when you're trying to raid and you don't know how much health you're on. You have to keep looking up to the top of your screen, and it's really impractical. So when I'm taking damage, life tapping here, I can see my health bar. It's even changing colour. That's how good it is. It just really signifies that I'm losing health, and I know what I'm on. It's also right next to my spells, so my eyes don't have to be moving from top to bottom of the screen all the time, and it really makes it much more simpler. I can focus on other things. I don't have to be worried about my health. Do I need to use a cooldown? Keep looking up and down. And in addition, I have the enemy frame right on the other side of the spells. So this is target, as you can see. So it really makes it easier to track. That's just one of the reasons. You can get other add-ons that move your health frame. They just move the default one. You can get add-ons called Move Anything. Bartender also acts similar to how ElvUI would work in that you can move all your spells. Quite a lot of people like that one. Or you can still stick with the usual one. Just make sure that you move your health frame down to either the middle area of your screen or a bit below like mine, just so that you're not having to look all over your screen. You want to have everything centralized in the middle to the bottom of your screen. Some classes are able to have just all their spells chunked into the corner, and they use tell me whens and weak auras to track the main things that they're going to be casting. As you can see on my screen, I have just a couple of cooldowns and buffs. When I cast this, you can see demonic empowerment. It's just a few things that help me track important things, rather than having to look up in the top corner for buffs, down at the bottom for looking for cooldowns. It just makes it a lot easier. So that's another reason why ElvUI is good. Spells being compact rather than them being in 3 rows all the way across the screen and up the side. I'm able to put them all right next to the health frames, so that's quite effective. It's a lot easier to see everything, all just stacked in 3 rows. Some people might have it in 4 rows on Bartender. You can change it however you like. This is obviously just mine, and I propose that you do something similar to this, in a sense that you put them together, make it easier to see. Thirdly, why I like ElvUI is it just looks quite pretty. It's much better than the basic UI, in my opinion. Most people like to keep it the same way that it is normally. That's up to you, and it's perfectly fine. I used to play with it up until about Cataclysm. Since then, when I found ElvUI is what I've been using, I found it really cool. It's definitely the best add-on that I've ever got, aside from DBM, but we'll go into that later. Secondly, the second add-on I want to go over is Nug Combo Bar. And this is that one with the green combo points there. So they are my soul shards, and that's for this class. So ElvUI also has it incorporated into my unit frame. This works with, so you can see below my pet bar I have like 4 shards. That's able to, when you see I spend them, it's costing 2. For classes such as rogues as well, or ret paladins who have holy power, feral druids, even things like prot paladins who they don't have combo points, but what it will track is it will track Shield of the Righteousness. So you're able to see how many charges you have, and it'll always have 3 for when you have 3, because that's how it works. And when you spend one, it'll move down, and when it recharges, it'll move back up. Literally just works like combo points. And this makes it just a lot easier to see, because again, if you think about the default one, it's right in the top corner of your screen next to the enemy frame, and it's really awkward to be looking up and down, looking at how much energy you've got on the left. It's just so much easier to keep everything compact and down and easy to see, so you can focus on actually avoiding mechanics, doing things properly in the raid. So you can, as you can see, you can just have it however you like. You can make it bigger, smaller, you can move it around. You can see it can be wherever I want. Probably be better if I had it more centralized, but I like to keep it down there. Right about here. So that's no combo bar, and I'll put a link down to all these in the description. Most of these you're going to get off Curse Client. It's really good for downloading them. However, you cannot get ElvUI off Curse Client. You need to go to their website, which I'll link to. So that's no combo bar. The third one I'm going to go over is Tell Me When, and that is these main icons that you can see on my screen. Alternatively to Tell Me When, you can get weak auras. Now, a lot of the professionals will use weak auras. I just prefer Tell Me When. I like to be able to see the button rather than weak auras, which weak auras is kind of, they give you big, pretty, scribbly drawings, more flashy icons. It's going crazy on your screen. You can set them up however you like, and it does look cool, but I prefer to just be able to see how long's left on my cooldown rather than having it in bars and all this. I just prefer it as icons. So Tell Me When. I'll just go over a couple, and you can see, ignore all the black box mess in the corner there. Focusing on all these spells, I'll just go over a couple just so you can see how it is to set up, because obviously there are plenty of videos out there already which go over in depth on how to use these add-ons. So what I have, Burning Rush, let's look at this one. You want to make sure it's enabled. At the top right you can see here, enabled. And at the top you can choose what it is you want to track. So we're going to do Burning Rush here. So it's a buff / debuff, because Burning Rush, when I use Burning Rush, as you can see at the top right corner, it counts as a buff. And I want to track who to watch. So I want to be obviously looking at player. Player is yourself. You can type your own name into this. It does work like that. So player. If it was a target, I want to track on the target, I would just type target. And as on the side here, you can track pet, focus target, pet's target. Another person in your raid team, you can track it on them. If you wanted to know when to tank swap, you choose the other tank's name, have it in there ready, so when they get 3 stacks of the debuff, then you can taunt off. It's much easier to see that way rather than having to shout, taunt now, etc. So Burning Rush is player target. Just get rid of that one. And next, it's going to be a buff, because Burning Rush is a buff. It can be a debuff if it's something like Doom or Corruption, Agony, any other things like Rupture for a rogue, just anything. But here Burning Rush is a buff, so I've got that checked. Only cast by me, it's usually going to be this one, you're never going to change it. And here we go to opacity and colour. Now, as you can see, I have it on 50%, so when Burning Rush is present, you can see it here at the side of my screen on my Felguard, and you can see how it's kind of see-through. I can change this so that it goes 100%, whatever, but I like it on 50% just so I can see, as sometimes I'll be keeping it up longer than normal and I don't want it just being annoying in the way there, but it is there, so I do know, I can see I do have the buff, and I'm losing health while I'm doing it. While it's absent, so when it's not there, as you can see, I have it on hidden, so if I turned that on full, it would always be there, even though I don't have it. So when I turn it on, it goes away. So I want to have that on 0, because I don't want to see Burning Rush. Other ones, as you can see on the side, where I have them showing up the whole time, and that's because I want to track when I have them available to use. So that's Burning Rush there. On the right side now, you want to make sure that it isn't relevant for Burning Rush because it doesn't have a timer, it's just permanent. You want to just click on pretty much everything at any tell me when that you use. Show timer text, and then if you have ElvUI, show ElvUI timer text. And it just keeps the cooldown, so if I show you for Dreadstalkers, which you can see at the bottom, there it goes 14 seconds, and it's quite I've reduced the opacity to it again 50%. So when that comes available, I'll let you see what happens. It flashes like that. Now it's a bit greyed out because I don't have enough soul shards to spend on it, and that's just something that tells me which it's not ready to be cast yet. So if I can show you how to do that, I'll choose the Doomguard one. So again, for Doomguard, I want to have it enabled, and Doomguard is a spell cooldown. Since his 3-minute cooldown lasts 25 seconds, so it's a spell cooldown. So I've got that checked. Summon Doomguard, that's the name of the spell. Check. And I've got power check. Power check just means that whether or not I have enough soul shards to spend on it. This works with other things like combo points, or it just works with mana if it's just a spell, just to tell you that you do have enough mana to spend on it. Again, ready. I've got it on 100%, not ready 100%, so I can see it permanently what it is on the timer. Out of power, that's when I don't have enough soul shards. It goes to 55% opacity. And on the right we have again show timer text, and show ElvUI timer text. So it's simple, it's pretty much just the same for every single add-on. Whether you're choosing it as a spell cooldown is just different, or it's a buff or a debuff, a totem, anything you can track, loads of different things here. Next, however, is to show you how I get the activation border. Now that's what I use, however you can have plenty of different ones. So at the bottom, where we were on icon, we now go to notification. And on notification, you'll ignore this unfinished one, you'll be pressing add notification. And you can choose from a list here of different ones that you want to choose. I have animation, so I'm going to show you animation. And on finish, where it says timer, on finish, there's plenty of different options here. So when the ability is available to cast again, on finish makes it so that when it's finished, I want it to make an animation, and there's plenty to choose from here. I like to have activation border. That's the one where it glows up around the outside, telling me that it's available, like you saw with the Dreadstalker. And I have this on duration 1.2, just so it lasts a little bit longer than it normally does, which is 0.8, which is what it says. You could set it however long that you want. I just like it at that. So that's that. That's tell me when. You can also set conditions, which mean that it would only show up if you were a certain specialization. So class and talents, unit specialization, affliction, whatever, combat stats, loads of different things. If you want to look more into this, go check out another video of someone who has gone into depth of tell me when, and you can. It is really helpful. That's tell me when. Weak auras works in a similar way. Of course, it's a bit more. I'll just type /weak aura. I've got plenty of different ones. They're all usually for raid encounters. I use them for. Someone will link them, and you can just copy and paste it. It's really easy to use. But moving on, the next add-on, which some of you will hate, and even I hate, however, it saved my life in a raid countless times. And this add-on is called, when I go on it, GTFO. Now for those of you that don't know what GTFO stands for, I'm going to condone swearing on my channel for just 1 second. GTFO means get the fuck out. And it does exactly what it says. It pisses you off so that you will move out of the crap on the floor that you are standing in. So I'm just going to do some tests here. These are the noises that you are going to hear when you are stood in, things that you can avoid. So usually the raid high damage sounds is for... Yeah, that's quite annoying. You can turn the volume up. I have it on quiet, just so it's there and telling me. The reason why this has saved me so many times is when you think of a fight, such as Gorfiend, for example. Let's go with Gorfiend. So, where were we? Hellfire Citadel. Okay, my UI is messed up. Gorfiend has an ability called the Shadows one. I actually forgot its name, but the one that creates puddles around the outside of the room that everyone drops off. Sometimes someone will drop it in the middle of the room and piss everyone off. And if you were stood in that, you're going to take a lot of ticking damage. And again, if you have the basic UI, your health is going to be in the top left corner, your debuff's in the top right. You're not going to be paying attention to are you standing in it or not. You're going to be focusing on DPS, killing off those adds, right? You don't have time to mess around with looking, oh, am I stood in something? Even though the basic rule of World of Warcraft is get out the fire, this add-on just means that if you are slightly stood in it for a second, half a second, whatever, just slightly stood in it, it'll start beeping at you. You can't come up with the excuse that, oh, I didn't know I was stood in it. The animation wasn't there. Well, now GTFO tells you, get the fuck out. You're stood in something shit. You need to move. And I make all my raiders get this because if they don't have it, they just keep standing in stuff. And I know, like, I'm triggered right now because it brings back memories of people moaning that, oh, they weren't stood in it, but clearly you were. If you had this add-on, you have no excuse. You're able to move instantly. If you stay in it too long, it's just going to piss you off so much, and that's why it's such a good add-on. Otherwise, you could have weak auras or tell me whens. They could you'd have to set them up for each boss, every ability, so that if you were stood in it and you had the debuff or the buff, then it would tell you in a big icon on your screen saying, oh, you stood in this. But GTFO just works for everything. Anything that you stood in that could be trivial, it wouldn't be a lot of damage. It would just tell you a light sound, as it has different sounds. So PvP raid environment, low damage sound. It's just a light noise. If you fail to do something, and this is good for LFR as well because it just helps you train as to what you should and shouldn't be standing in. But that's GTFO. The next add-on is SCADA, and SCADA is the same as Recount. They work exactly the same. It's in the bottom right corner of my screen on the other side. As you can see here, this is what some people find annoying, where people keep linking Recount, whatever. But the problem, the thing that you can benefit with this spell is just by looking at what abilities you've done, and it kind of helps you understand your class as well as other people's classes. So I can click on a mage here and see what abilities he did, and he sees Ignite, Flame Patch, Pyroblast, and what damage they're doing, and they do a majority of his damage. And it helps you understand, even for PvP, what other classes' damage abilities are doing to you, that why are they doing so much damage. And it allows me to see for myself, so I can see that, oh, I was doing Implosion was doing the most of my damage. It's a really key ability. Or if you are in a raid and you see another, so if I saw another Warlock and he was doing way more damage than me, but we had like the same gear, so firstly you could check his talents and you can go, oh well, he was choosing the same talents as me. And then when you click on his on SCADA or Recount, you click on it and it shows what abilities he was doing that was doing the most damage, so you can compare it with your own and say, why, well, my Implosion was doing half the amount of damage, so clearly I need to improve on managing Implosion, getting it on priority targets when all the imps spawn or something, and there's something big to AoE that I'm bringing them in then. And you can also see there's a load of list of things you can see: healing, damage, damage taken, deaths when people are dying. It also tracks that. Dispels. Your healers in raid not dispelling. Well, you can see here now. But more importantly, enemy damage taken. So this was just an Iron Docks fight. This is obviously just something basic. The last boss in Iron Docks dungeon. You want to kill the big guy as soon as possible so that he doesn't do the pushback. So you can click that and you can see who damaged him the most. And you can see that Miscusi was a little bit behind me, but in the overall damage he was more or less the same as me. And I'm not saying that he's bad, he's a very good mage. But even though he was only doing very slightly less damage than me, I was higher on the priority target, and this can work with any boss. So you could go look at Gorefiend and see who was doing in the raid the most damage on the shadowy adds, rather than Gorefiend and just cheesing on him in the soul phase. Or maybe Kilrog, who's killing the salivating bloodthirsters that are running towards the pool. You can do this to set yourself goals of being able to attack the priority targets and be top damage. And if you want to join a raid team, you want to show that you are amazing at switching targets. You're great at moving out of fire, GTFO again, and just being able to track everything. Add-ons are so important. You can of course play without add-ons. Blizzard is doing everything that they can to allow you not to have add-ons. You don't need add-ons to be able to play. But so that's Skada, and possibly the most important add-on to have if you don't have it already. You should know what it is. It's DBM or Bigwigs, and DBM stands for Deadly Boss Mods, and then there's Bigwigs. These add-ons, I'll just go over DBM. I have DBM. There are a bunch of options you can have. So boss setup, move me. You can see where I have mine. The one at the top left that says drag me. That's where abilities that have longer duration that are about to come in stay up top, and when they are almost ready they come down to the second bar that I have, which is more closer to my character. And this allows me to call out things in raid. So I'd say that Felseeker was coming in on Manaroth, or Infernal's coming, Fear's coming right now. Almost every boss has something valuable for Bigwigs or DBM. Also, it has special warnings. I think that World of Warcraft does this as well at default, but then you can also have heads-up display. This is for things such as Mythic Archimond, where you're trying to track the knockback ability that he does at the end. Or countless other things where you don't want to be standing in them, or you do want to be standing in them, depends on the fight. Spoken alerts.
1.
You can have different voices.
1.
I like that voice. But
1.
Overwatch announcer. So that's why DBN's amazing. It just keeps track of all the boss's abilities, allows you to focus. And again, as you can see, I put it towards the middle of my screen. And why is that important? Because I want to be focused. I want to be focused on doing what's important at that time, not checking my health in the top corner, not having to look at my buffs and debuffs and being able to track. The Nug combo bar allows me to see the combo points rather than again looking up top. It really makes it so much more enjoyable as well to play. Just being able to focus, and it just looks better. It actually looks better. And again, that's just me. You might find this doesn't look better, and that you like the normal UI. So again, it's up to you. But I've been having a lot of requests for doing this kind of video, and it's also the first video where I'm on camera. Whether or not that went well, I don't know. But thank you very much for watching. I enjoy making these videos, and I really want to make more, so make sure that you subscribe and like my videos for more. I will of course be playing Warlock, probably Demon Hunter and Legion, so if you want videos relating to that, then be sure to subscribe. But bye for now, and have a good time testing out add-ons and having fun.